Shahini, I think that's you. I got your receipt notice today. So, hello, Illinois Sanctuary. How are you? Abby underscore me. Abby me. That's what my dad used to call me. Abby Salami. Whenever he did. At Kala Mr. DG, whenever he had hello Miss Giwa, whenever my dad did me wrong. Abby Salami. Yeah, you think your dad did you wrong, kid? Yeah, my dad did me wrong. Okay, let me did this. Hold on 1 second, people. Did that need a space on that one. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Hi everyone. Hi everybody. Come on in, say hello, come on in, say hello. Serious talk tonight. I've had it. Like y'all. Let's talk seriously. Like y'all need to I see you too. You know who you are. Sending me a nice emoji. I see you. That's my secret crush. I'm not sure if it's secret anymore anyway, because I think people are figuring him out. I think if people figured it out, just saying. Hi everyone. Come on in. Say hello. Hola. Shalaf y'all everybody. Wow. What's going on? Hello, Natalie. How are you? Come on in. Let's talk immigration. Let's talk immigration. Let's talk immigration. What's going on, people? How was everyone's weekend? Oh, my weekend was rough. I'm telling you, it was rough. But I thank God for strength. Thank God for his strength. Life is too short. Life is too short. Life is too short. Let's just do the right. Let's try the best we can to live right. For me, I just don't know how to judge people. Because listen, I always say, I ain't going to be a preacher's wife because I am God's work under construction. Because I'm going to be a prayer warrior. I can cuss you out the next minute. But in all seriousness, I mean, I will give it to you tomorrow. If you don't hear from me tomorrow, send me a reminder email if you don't mind. I'll appreciate that because sometimes I don't know if I'm going or coming. I'm hopeful that when we get the interview scheduled and hopefully wrap everything up, that will be, yes, God's favorite. Life is too short. Lost a colleague and friend on Friday, tragically. And funny thing is, it was supposed to help me feeling for me this week, but yeah, you just never know. And kindness goes a long way because we don't know what people are dealing with. You just don't know. If someone's smiling doesn't mean everything is okay. You never know what people are dealing with. It may just be one more thing you say that's gonna send them over the edge, or one more thing you say that's gonna take them off the cliff. You just never know. Let's be kind. There's nothing more powerful than the tongue. The tongue can make or break. It can uplift or break down. It can build or destroy. It is very powerful. So that's all I have to say on that one. Anyway, God remains our strength. Thank you, Mr. Heaney. Yeah, just pray for his family. That's all I ask for, his family. And yeah. Let's talk immigration. This is attorney 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕, immigration attorney based in Alabama, representing immigration clients in all 50 states. Someone asked me today, hey, is this like my office in Atlanta? I don't know. Is it a plan? Yes. But y'all have to understand. It's a different thing if I have, I can easily move back and forth. Good thing is that my kids are much older. My oldest is independent. My baby's 12. So, but I still share custody with my ex-husband, with my baby. So, moving and who's just let's how about this? Let's just put it in the hands of God. But I say this, it doesn't matter where we're located. We can represent immigration clients in many states. If you need to reach us, our contact information is 334-341-4475. You can send a text to the number, the same number on our WhatsApp. 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕 is the website. You can also contact us through the website, social media, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Drew blank there. At 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕 Immigration on all platforms. So tonight we are going to talk about, thank you, Miss Illinois Sanctuary. Sure, my girls already got you. But serious stuff tonight, people. I'm seeing so many cases of VAWA being denied on things that should not be denied. So let's talk about doing VAWA right. Let's talk serious business now. Doing VAWA right. What do I mean by that? You have a higher chance of having your VAWA case approved at the first level, affirmative level, where you send it into USCIS, than when you file an appeal or motion to reopen, reconsider. You have a higher chance of it being approved at the very first level. Your chances of approval reduces when you get a denial and now you're filing a motion to reopen, reconsider, or filing an appeal. Everyone appeals a motion to reopen, reconsider. Yes. Is it is the rate as high as when we win at the first level? No, it is not. It's not even comparable. That's the truth. If you're not able to substantiate your case when you're submitted to the Vermont Service Center and the adjudicating officer, most likely it's going to be a harder burden to be able to establish or have additional evidence, unless you really do have additional evidence, when you not have a denial, unless the denial was an error or you have something that you should have. For instance, a straightforward denial such as a denial based on good moral character. For if you did not submit good moral character, FBI background check for the last 3 years, you only submitted 1 year, they sent you an RFE, you did not respond, or you responded with just the 1 year, then they deny it. As long as you're able to get something that covers the last 3 years, that's a very easy, straightforward motion to reopen, motion to reconsider. That's a straightforward approval upon a motion or an appeal. That's not what I'm talking about. So let's talk about where the issue lies about VAWA cases and why it's important to get it right. A lot of people, it's a lot easier to say, Tony, no. If you have to understand, it is what evidence you give an attorney that it can work with, right? As attorneys, we cannot make up evidence for you. When I do consultations on a new case, I'm very thorough. If you've had a consultation with me, you know. I'm asking you everything on the kitchen sink. I'm up in your business. I want to know. My questionnaires are asking you about your sexual activity to your spouse. What side of bed do you sleep? What does it like you, or she likes to sleep in? That's just because sometimes all you have is just a very detailed affidavit. But you have to remember that if you do your case without an attorney, or you don't have a copy of the file that you submit, USCI sends you an RFE or notice of intent to deny, and then you have indicated a different narrative in your initial submission, but you now add something more, or you change dates and all that, those inconsistencies become an issue that will eventually lead to a denial. So when I say doing VAWA right, what do you have to do right? Number one, it is a lot easier for you to get an attorney to help you on your case. First of all, having an attorney helps you have your entire file in one place. Like in my firm, whenever we do a case, any case whatsoever, be it VAWA, H-1B petition, national interest waiver, asylum, whatever the case may be, within 48 hours of us mailing your case out, the client will get a complete copy in a link. Send you a link to download a copy of your file. You will not, there's no client who's going to be able to say, no, because I keep my emails. I have the email to show that we sent you a copy of your file. It's important for you to know what is being sent in on your behalf. Now, you cannot expect an attorney to just sit down and keep reviewing. Do you know, I have hundreds of cases. I may know all my clients, which I do know all my clients' names, and I can tell you what's happening in your case, but you cannot expect an attorney to keep up on your documents. It is your case and it's your life. Give us the information we need, then we can use it to build a good case for you, right? So, what are the issues or the common issues of denial that people encounter when it comes to a VAWA case? Three main things. The abuse is never, I can count on one hand how many VAWA cases where people come to me, they want to do an appeal or they want to know what the options are because the case was denied and an abuse was one of the grounds. Because there's 7 grounds that abuse will be one of the grounds that USC has to deny. I can count on one hand because a police report, or if you don't have that, which most people don't have, affidavits from friends, your declaration, that would take care of the abuse part of your VAWA case. But remember, and I say this in all my consultations, the fact that you had a regular marriage case that was filed, that did not work out in your favor, does not mean that VAWA is a default. Because the same issue you had in that previous case, you will most likely have in a VAWA case. Why? VAWA case is the same thing as a regular marriage case. You're proving the same thing. The only difference is the underlying petition is filed by you rather than your spouse, with the additional requirement of you being a victim of abuse, victim of extreme cruelty, that makes you eligible to be a self-petitioner. It's the same thing. Nothing changes. That's the same requirement. So you're going to have to prove good faith, shared residency, and the most important and the most common ground for denial, qualifying relationship. And you know me, and I job people me, and I know other countries too, but and you know me, our like it's not funny, but we'll get to qualifying relationship. Good faith. So for the most part, good faith and shared residency, what you need to prove those two are but very, very similar evidence. If you're able to prove shared residency or good faith, then you're able to prove shared residency. You don't necessarily if you're able to prove shared residency, doesn't necessarily mean you can prove good faith. But good faith, because that's the intention. What is your intention inception of marriage? If you're commingling funds, you've got wedding photos, you've got photographs of different events and vacation photos, because people will give me photographs from wedding, like 5 from the wedding, and you're wearing jeans, or you got flip-flops and you're getting married. Come on, people. Like, sometimes it's like, that's all we have to send in. But I always write in and say, hey, this doesn't look, this is not convincing. Wedding day is supposed to be, anybody can elope and like you can do whatever you want on the wedding day, but for the most part, it's more of objective standard when it comes to these cases than subjective, right? So even if that's what you have, what else do you have as far as photos? Do you have, because if you're going to get photographs that is just both of you just hanging, trying to hug each other, but you're not necessarily hugging each other. I don't so far I know. If you're married, you're married. If you're gonna be married, there is the presumption that y'all sleep in the same bed. There's the presumption that y'all see each other naked. So unless you're afraid, maybe you saw the person naked and you were like, everybody and that kind of thing, I'm just trying to, but in all seriousness, unless you're like, no. But that's the presumption that you see each other. So there's no reason why you should have photos looking like, oh, you're a stranger, or we're doing MFM kind of hug. Listen, don't come for me, MFM people. I've been a member of that church. I left because they were going to drive me crazy, and they told me I couldn't eat for 72 hours. I said, Jesus fasted for 40 days and 40 nights, so I don't have to do it. So 72 hours, okay. But let's leave that alone. Photographs, affidavits from friends. When you leave, a lot of people, and that's one argument we make a lot of times, that most I've been around Saffron. If you're gonna be in the same bed, come on, you've got to be like, you want to be together. If you're going to be running away, like, because if I see people hugging themselves, like, first of all, shame if and love, they were like me. What happened when you saw each other that is making you afraid of it? Because I'm not really I'm a hugger in the sense of, let's leave that alone. Let's leave this in life, private life alone. But being able to show, for instance, USCIS understands to some extent that because of the abuse, a lot of petitioners may not have primary evidence. You're talking about, or because you don't have your paperwork yet, you don't have social security number, you don't have you don't have work permit, so you have no identification. But that's where the affidavit comes into play. But if there has been any kind of inconsistency in your case, in your file at all, USCIS will pick on that. And those people, a little thing is what they say. They're like, that's it. Even if everything else is tending to show that it's real. So you cannot afford to leave that loophole for, inconsistencies. For instance, if you say that you lived with your spouse from July 1st to, December 1st in your I-360 form, and then your affidavit says you live together from January 1st to December 1st. That's a discrepancy. That's not conforming. That's going to be a red flag. So are you lying, or were you confused? What is the case? If you are in a case where you don't have access to documents because of the abuse, or because you don't have, you've not been able to open an account or get EAD or file anything, then you can have neighbors. If you live in an apartment complex, make friends with the neighbors. Let people know who you are. Let people see you. Let them become familiar with you, because eventually, one of the things that we also use is we use affidavits from friends. You always have affidavits from friends and neighbors, people who know that they see, we've seen the couple, they live together, their names, we don't know their full names, but these are the first names. That is very helpful in doing your VAWA case right. Okay, good fit evidence, shared residency. Examples of things you can use, like I said, affidavits from friends, affidavits from neighbors, a letter from the apartment complex manager, school records. If your abusive spouse has kids, if you're listed as the emergency contact in the kids' school. If you are the emergency contact at work, showing your address, driver's license with the same address. Let's see, vacation photos. Vacation photos are huge. If you're going to be taking vacation with someone, obviously, if you're not living with them at home, the last thing you want to do is to be with them, on an island somewhere. Because can you everybody in your family loves Mexico? If we're not, you know what I'm saying? Okay. What else? I'm talking about affidavits. And then a detailed declaration also helps. Specific incidents of when you traveled, whose birthday you went for, how you met. Those are things that actually help with your case. A big issue, money. Commingling your funds. Because, listen, for those of us who are 𝐸𝐵 people, or that have 𝐸𝐵 blood in us, we do not play with our money. Like, I am half 𝐸𝐵 because my mother is a 100% 𝐸𝐵 woman. So, this true story. She's probably watching it. She's probably like, Abisola, let me say this. So my mom, as one of the gifts wanted to give her, or I wanted to give her, she has an upcoming trip, and she was, we're looking at airfare, and and she saw economy. Nothing wrong with economy, but keep in mind, my mom has worked her whole life. She's sacrificed. She's done everything for her kids, lived basically for her kids. Now she's retired and finally able to say, okay, let me even start enjoying life. So she's got an upcoming trip later this year, going to celebrate another friend's birthday. And so she's like, okay, I'm to get me now. She's like, economy, this is how much it is. So like, well, okay, if that's the amount for economy, what is the first class? Because if that, the economy was really, really reasonable. So like, that means the first class would probably not be that bad. It probably would be the price of economy if you're going to a different city or bigger city. But anyway, we looked at it, and yeah, it was about the same price of what I would take to Houston or something. And I tell this woman, like, okay, I'll pay the difference. Don't worry, I'll take care of it. In my mother's true 𝐸𝐵 form, she's like, no, my worry, no. Give me the money instead. Money, yeah, banking. Like in this one life, you don't have any kids to take care of. What exactly are you planning? No. You're my soul. I said, you're 70. At your age, you don't need to be cramped up with your feet because of your health. There is more leg room, and this is not even a whole lot difference. Why in God's name do you think you should still not because of understand more understand can you need that to understand? She's like, okay, I'm like, we're not even having it. No, let's leave it. We left it alone. Not even an hour later, this Ijebu woman, hey Miss Luya, I sent her an email, 2 emails. Check your email. Not even that. Now this Ijebu woman texted me like, "What, Abisola? Was serious? So, run no, give me the money." I was like, Ijebu people. But the funny thing about Ijebu people is this: when it's time for them to do party, like oh, I'm bed they buy, they will tap on you from head to toe. Because the people must say, I want your mark by I know them, they must take. I want your party by it's over. Actually, your mommy friend. Hey, it's over. They will do anything but lie. Anyway, so you know, so, the German people, you're not going to take them. They won't take you if they're not going to stay with you. They won't take you on a trip to Mexico. So vacation photos. I'm sure you guys are always thinking like, how does she remember where she stuff? Yeah, I think I have the detail, but I always remember where to start from. Vacation photos, money. That's what I was talking about. Commingling money. Nobody if you are someone who you already know that if you're going to be able to show bank statements, not just like the person's name is on it, but that you guys are actually using an account for your household expenses. You're paying your rent from that account. You're paying your bills from that account. You have utility bills, not just 1 month, but at least 6 months. I always tell my clients, give me 6 months of water bill or power bill, of your car insurance, your most recent lease agreement, taxes that you file together, anything that involves money, like shows commingling, that is a big, that's a credible evidence for you. Your mortgage note, are you listed there? Are you financially responsible as well with your abusive spouse? Because shared residency has just become, and there is no required amount of time that you should have lived with your spouse. It doesn't matter how long you lived with your spouse, but you must live with your spouse at some point. I've had consultations where people will say, as a lawyer, yeah, I filed and I got that submit money. Okay, we're doing that. Share job because if you want me to help you, I cannot put my license on the line as a lawyer and say, yes, you live together. When you're going to tell me, like, let me know if you, yes, you have to be honest with your attorney, but there's some things you tell me that's going to conflict me out. If you tell me you never live together, I'm not going to be able to help you. You can do it on your own, but I cannot help you because I have to be able to attest that what I'm submitting on behalf of my client is the truth. So shared residency has been a bone of contention with VA cases. Good faith. Get your evidence together. Increase your chances of having your case approved when you submit it. It is a lot easier. There's no guarantee with anything. It's a lot easier to get your case approved at that level than to now fight motion to reopen, motion to reconsider. I have, it's been 50-50. When I have consulted people whose cases were denied and they consult with me and like, hey, should we file a motion to reopen or reconsider? Or should we refile if they're still married or if they've been divorced, but it's no more than 2 years? It's been half and half. I've had half of those clients say, you know what, I'm just going to start afresh and I want you to help me start afresh. So we put everything together and tell your story. And if you're my client, you would know that when we send you a file, it tells a story because that's how you keep in mind that VA petitions, there is no interview, right? There's no interview you're going to do in the VA petition. The only interview that may come up will be related to your I-485. And you should, now that they're waiving interviews, most likely not. So there's no interview with your VA petition. All the officer has to work with is what you sent in documentary evidence. So the more you can prove your case and prove all those points, then the higher the higher your chances of getting your case approved. Now let's get to the main issue of denial in VA cases. Main reason why VA cases are denied. is because of divorce decrees. Divorce decree, divorce decree, divorce decree. It is not an attorney's place to be able to tell you, oh, there's something wrong with your decree. We do not authenticate documents. When people show me something, I can tell you whether or not I feel that it's genuine or not. It doesn't mean I'm right, doesn't mean I'm wrong. I'm just telling you based on my observation and based on the history of what I've seen with cases with USCI. I say, okay, if you got your divorce decree from Lagos State, I can tell you what they look for and what may stand out as an issue. If you get your divorce decree from another state, I probably will not be able to tell you, but I would have to rely on your judgment that you're giving me documents that are authentic. However, USCIS has opened up a completely new department, a unit to investigate Nigerian divorce decree issue. That is a fact. And that is the number one basis for VAWA cases being denied. The fact that you do not have a qualified relationship. Back in the day, even up to 3-4 years ago, there wasn't this issue with the divorce decree. Like people will submit. I've been in an interview where my client had the divorce decree. This is not funny because she's a citizen now. Just to let you know how, at the end, because I always end my phrase like, see, this is just me, human talking. But God knows he's the one who has the final say. If God is going to show you a favor, regardless of what your documents say, he will show you a favor. But be realistic. She had a divorce because because she came on the case. And that was the very first time I started becoming very, curious about decrees, and started doing like, okay, now, I did a seminar where someone actually taught us about what's going on and what we can help our clients look at. It doesn't mean that I can tell you if you say you got divorced in, Bayelsa State, that even though the Marriage Act is the same, I don't know the format the court uses there. So it's important that you have a lawyer help you. If you're getting your divorce from Nigeria, have a lawyer help you with divorce. I'm getting to the point also in my practice where if there's going to be a case and it involves a divorce decree from Nigeria, the number one thing I'm going to ask you is email me a copy of your divorce decree. If there's something on it that just does not sit with them based on what I say, I will not take your case because it's just not worth it now. I've had cases where people say, since you're like, I'm just going to take the chance. It's certified copy. You've already agreed, and I've already told you this is my concern. You said you want to do it because you believe it's real. That's okay. We'll send it in. So if it gets denied, at least you know exactly what happened. That's the number one reason why VAWA cases, just like regular marriage cases, but VAWA cases get denied. Keep in mind, unlike a regular marriage case where, worst case scenario, you go back and remarry your spouse and then you refile, right? In the VAWA case, many more times people are already divorced from their abusive spouse. And so, how are you going to go remarry the person who was your abuser? Or you're separated from them, even though you're not divorced. You're separated from them because of the abuse. You cannot possibly now go back and say, you can, but obviously it's going to be awkward saying, you know what, I forgive you, let's get divorced, or let's get remarried because I'm going to have to re-divorce. So it's almost like a one-shot thing. So your divorce decree has to be genuine to start with. It doesn't matter how much good faith evidence you have, how much shared residency evidence you have, good moral character evidence you have, abuse evidence you have, physical presence evidence you have. If you do not have a qualified relationship, meaning you were legally free to marry that abusive spouse, then you do not have a VAWA case. End of story. There's no exception to that, because you must have a qualified relationship. Now, you can also have a qualified relationship even if your abuser committed bigamy, meaning the married more than one person, you were not aware, you weren't part of that collusion, but as long as you were not aware and it's on their part, if you are deemed to have not been legally free to marry the abuser, on the other hand, there is no exception to that. That's the end of the story. So it's, you have to know that the person sending you divorce decree from Nigeria is sending you something that is authentic. Anybody can put a certified true copy stamp. Listen, yeah, sorry, to be thorough. Now, anybody look, anybody list certified. Let it come from the court. Let it come from the court. Save yourself a lot of trouble. Or better still, just get your darn divorce here in the United States. Get the divorce here in the United States. We sent the case last week, and we're waiting on my client to send us the divorce certificate. And then when she finally sent it to me, I said, hell no. There's no how. Even a blind man can see this is not, I mean, come on now. Mrs. Lagbaja. It's more but the law school got seven. You gonna work with this. So like, okay, so like get me well, you divorced from your husband, yes, but not with customer. I don't care what's because get me a genuine, authentic divorce decree, so that we're not building all of these just on sand. Let's build on a solid foundation. So do your VAWA case right. Consult at the very least. If you're going to do yourself, consult with a lawyer. There's nothing that pains my heart. Nothing pains my heart. Like today, we got a notification of an appeal that was dismissed. It was a VAWA case. There was good faith, and then divorce decree issue. We don't have the decision yet. Got the email notification. But I will not be surprised if it comes down to the divorce decree. So get a consultation. Let the attorney and I say this cautiously, like show the attorney. I have a friend now that if you are consulting with my friend and you tell him that you got your divorce from Nigeria, he's not going to take your case. That's what his office policy is. He's not even going to ask you, send me, let me see what. No, because at the end of the day, we're not responsible. You can't say a lawyer. No. A lawyer is not responsible for helping you to determine whether or not your document is real. Our part is to say, do you have a divorce certificate? You give me a divorce certificate. That's what I cannot doubt that my client is not going to give me something that's authentic. Me questioning your divorce decree is an issue. Now, if I call clients and say, hey, this is not looking right to me, and here's why. Yes, that's because of what I have seen in decisions USCIS has made and what they've pointed out in my research. It doesn't mean that I know every single format that's used in every state in Nigeria or whatever the country the immigrant is from. Just do the right thing. Get it done so that you're not wasting time and money that you all work very hard in this country for. Let's do VAWA right. That's all she wrote. Okay, let us do questions, people. Yeah, tonight I was like, let's call it spade. Let's just throw thoughts. I mean, yeah. All right, people. Let's talk. Okay. Mr. Kazoo, I'm chilling with TJ. And who are you, Mr. Kazoo? Yes. TJ's on the field trip. That's why the house is quiet. She can tell. Mr. Kazoo, what is TJ doing since you're chilling with TJ? Anonymorigba, I love that. Good evening. How are you? Hello, Mr. Joseph. If there's an error in the date you filled on your form that you start living with your spouse and the date on your personal affidavit and the U.S. has sent an error based on that discrepancy, how can someone respond to that? I've had that recently happen, and and that's not for me. I don't ever take a case without doing a FOIA request, because a FOIA request gives me an insight into what you submitted, especially when the client doesn't have what they submitted. But you want to believe that whatever information you put in your declaration, it's going to be the same you had put in your I-360. But sometimes that happens if you put different dates. but USCIS is going to pick up on that. So what do? Write another, you're going to have to do another affidavit, do another affidavit explaining why the error happened, which one was the error, or, for instance, if you live with them to, say, for instance, June 1st, you put June 1st in your declaration, and then you put September 1st in your form. And, now you have to explain. It could be a case where June 1st is why it's in your declaration, because that's when they initially moved out. And then, they still came around from between June, July, August, September. But finally, the last time they moved all the stuff out in June, you're like, okay, they're gone. But really, back and forth, they will still come, hoping that, and, they, for instance, come and have like a whole week of stay in September. That can be an explanation, reasonable explanation as to why there's the discrepancy. That, okay, they came back, it looked like things were going to be good, but then finally left. So that's what I meant by June and September, but it doesn't change the fact that I live with them. This is the evidence to show that we actually live together. My cousin needs a visitor visa. He's a businessman. Can you help with that? No, I cannot, because we don't provide avenues to immigrate. You must have your own eligibility ground. Hello, Miss Gibson. TJ is fine. SG is fine. They're doing fine. We thank God. God is faithful always. Got 10-year green card. Congratulations. Filed for 2 younger children in September 2022. What's next, and when would they join me here, please? You go to uscis.gov/person time, see how long it's taking them to process an I-130. And then the visa bulletin will tell you how long, when you can file. And the longest wait you're probably going to have will be at the embassy. Yeah, I knew you meant TJ, not YJ. After you get your VAWA case approved, how long will it take for I-45 to get approved, depending on the jurisdiction, field office that has jurisdiction over your case and your priority date. What comes next after biometrics for I-45 and I-360? You're waiting. If you filed an EAD application, you probably get that in while you're waiting. If not, it's a long. VAWA is a long wait, and that's another thing, because VAWA process is a very long process. It's a lengthy process, right? Again, right now it's showing 36 months, or thereabout, about 3 years for them to adjudicate just the VAWA petition, not even your 45. We're talking of just the VAWA petition. So imagine how long you're going to be waiting for, and then for them to come back and it's denied based on, divorce decree issue or whatever the case may be. Okay, let's see. Hello, Mr. Shidu. How are you? My office is located in Alabama, but we represent, if it has to do with immigration cases, we represent immigration clients in all states. Thank you, Yinky. I appreciate that. Just got married. We want to file with you. How do we get in contact? Office number is 334-341-4475. Website, olalealawfirm.com. If you go on the website, it's very, very straightforward. You can schedule your consultation on our website. Thank you, Coyote. Hey, TJ's mom. This is Weston. How are you, Weston? How you guys doing? Are you guys enjoying your field trip? I bet you are. When applying through marriage, how many things do we need in our names together? It's not how many things, it's how does your evidence rise to the level of preponderance of evidence, credible evidence, right? What's a police clearance letter? It's basically background check. Run your prints to show if you have a criminal history. How long to get EAD after biometrics? Biometrics doesn't have anything to do with it. People think it does. If you get your EAD shortly after biometrics, it's just purely coincidental. That's what it is. Many EADs are approved um without the fingerprint on it. So if you do the paperwork for your husband, should you fill out the preparer's part? That's another question I can answer. About forms, no. I haven't approved. After being approved for emergency I-131 travel certificate, is that okay for coming back? I-131 basically is what allows you to come back into the country when you leave. H-1B non-cap, how successful challenge? I don't understand that question. I'm in Texas in legal F1 and someone is cyberbullying me and threatening me. Can I get a U visa? Have you made a report to the to your police department to see if that's something that can rise to the level of any of the qualifying criminal activities for U visa? Now let me still see how I thank you. Appreciate that. Djibouti, what? In Djibouti. Cosento, what are you? We're okay. More concerning because at least I have some Egyptian blood in me. So just saying. More concern you. In Djibouti, Pusha. Okay. Miss Delia, good evening as well. Do you have any info on probate lawyers? Probate cases are state specific, so you will have to find out one on in your state. How much does it cost to do a divorce in the United States? That's the specific question. You would have to consult with a lawyer in your state. So, unlike immigration, that is federal practice. Divorce is state specific. So, for instance, if you were to, so I get that question almost every day. If you want to ask, hey, Cecilia divorce from, I can't help you if you don't live in the state of Alabama. I'm licensed in New York as well, but because I'm not physically present, I really don't follow New York law because I'm in Alabama. I know that like the back of my hand. But divorce is state specific, family law is state specific. You would have to get a lawyer in your state. Yes, get your 601A approved first. But you have to make sure you check in with your case so it's not canceled out. I just jumped. Can you imagine? If I miss your question, it's not my fault. It is the way TikTok does about. Could you talk about Vawa? That's what we talked about, right? Let's see. I was seeking asylum for 2 years, but my spouse and I got married. What happens now? He's a U.S. citizen. Consult with a lawyer and start your case. Okay. F4 priority date, March 2012. How long do I have to wait? Go to Department of State, USDOS, and look at the visa bulletin. If you go on our website, we have a link to the visa bulletin, and you see what dates they're working on. Can you file asylum after a year of being in the USA? You can, as long as you're able to show that you have an exception to filing within the first year of entry, falls within, changes in your personal circumstances, extraordinary circumstances, country conditions, it has to fall under those specific grounds. Okay, let's go to Instagram. And you people, Instagram, what's going on? Let's see. We haven't done a video stuff in a while, so let's see if we can do one. If they're still there. If not, then we just keep going. How can an international student file for work permit? If you're an international student, you may have the option of OPT. You may also have the option of talking of OPT. I just remembered something. Okay. Let's see. Hello? Hello?
What is this?
Hello? Hello?
Okay. That's it. We're running away from home. That's it. You know what? I'm not buying it. Sorry. Call back up. Sir, we're in love. That's all we're trying to do. We're just trying to get there. We can't do that here.
Yeah. Hello? Is this person serious? Okay. There we go. See, that's why I don't fool with technology. But anyway, yeah. USPS lost my EAD card. Cannot reapply immediately, or will you advise to contact USCIS? Maybe they can replace it for free. Replacement for free generally is if it is on USCIS's fault. Now, USPS, when you say they lost the card, you can make an argument that it's a U.S. agency and it was never delivered to you, but usually you have a tracking number. If the tracking number shows that it was delivered to the address you put on file for USCIS, then you probably would not be able to say, send me a replacement for free. So that's something you should think of. First of all, go check your tracking number and see what it says. When do you think EB2 will be current? Listen, the funny thing is, or the worst part of it is, May visa bulletin is around the corner and it's actually regressing even more, because right now they're working on July 2022. May visa bulletin is showing February 2022. So my work authorization is going to expire by August. Is it free to renew it? What is your category? I don't know what your category is. Yeah, Miss Johina, it just depends. I mean, what is the category? Is it C8? Is it C9? Is it C31? What is your category? Because that the category determines whether or not you're going to pay a filing fee. What does it mean if you're removal proceedings and you have a pending Vawa case? I'm assuming you mean you asked for PD and the court said the court will place this matter on an. Okay, let me rephrase your question completely. So you're removal proceedings and you have a pending VI case. You're looking to seek prosecutorial discretion, but at the same time, you've been given a notice saying we're going to put this on status document in the sense that we're taking it off the court's calendar. It just means they're taking up the court's calendar. It's taking space, so we don't need to address this issue right now. It doesn't stop you from still moving forward with seeking prosecutorial discretion. Hi, Miss Sabina. Thank you. Yeah, and they're so light. Like it's Auntie and Sony and TJ Maxx now. I didn't even know there's this new thing they do in Israel now, where jewelry handmade, where rather than it's being completely full 0.925 sterling silver, it's like they blow up something. She was just explaining to me, I was like, girl, you had me at it looks good. That's all I need to know. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Oh, it's a C9 category. So if you have a C9, there is if you have a C9 EAD and you paid the filing fee for your I-485, there is no fee to renew a C9 category EAD. If you did not pay if you got your fee waived for a 485, then you either going to file yet another fee waiver application with your renewal application, or you pay the 410 with your renewal application. If you get an update saying your card is being produced in I-485 and the day after you see your I-485 has been approved again, what does that mean? It means the same thing. Okay. All right, people. I think I was able to get to everyone's question. Let's see. I think so. Uptown filed a Vawa petition in December last year, but no receipt notice yet. What does that mean? I don't know what it means. It just means you haven't received your receipt notice. And Fatima, okay, I think that you're the same person who is on here that asked me. Yeah, that's you. Same person who asked me that question about 485. Okay. All righty. Hello, FP. Does having a divorce decree hurt your I-751 self? Divorce is also a 751 divorce. Divorce waiver is also self-petition 751. And same thing as an abuse, a waiver. So if you can start with an abuse waiver case, and so you can start with an abuse waiver case. And if before your case is approved, you get divorced, then you can actually add that as an additional ground. So it doesn't hurt your case. If anything, it helps your case because you get to increase the chances of having at least one of those grounds being granted for your 10-year green card. When someone is in removal proceedings, can you renew your EAD under your VA application? If your VA has been approved, then you can get a C31. If your VA has not been approved, then what is going to be your basis for renew your EAD? Do you have a pending 485? What is going to be your basis? Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me. I appreciate it all the time. Once again, if we can help you with your immigration cases, 334-341-4475. Visit our website at olalayalawfirm.com. We'll be glad and happy to help you with your case. You can also text us on WhatsApp. We don't take calls on WhatsApp. It's strictly for messages. That way it helps to streamline. And, I love to be in control, so I need to have a system that works. Thank you, Ms. Shahili. So thank you, Eagle Prada. I appreciate that. And listen, there's nothing that warms my heart more than knowing that I have a client or you have an approval in your case. If you increase those chances by just taking some steps prior to filing your case, it makes a big difference. Thank you, Mrs. Ben. It makes a big difference. I'm just one of those people, and I have my colleagues who are like, Abby, you can't take everything. This is a job. It is a job, yes, but it is a passion. It's one thing to have it as a job, it's another thing for it to be a passion of yours. And so that's the part that it's hard for me to separate. That, okay, yes, have I done the work that was paid for? Yes, but it's not just about, okay, get paid. It's about, how does this person feel with this news, and empathizing with them. Thank you, Illinois Sanctuary. Empathizing with them and knowing that this is something that now we got to figure out. And I get myself caught up in, okay, yeah, the case is over and let opportunity just move on. That's it. I'm that person who, okay, now, so you got to deny. What's the next step? What's the option you have? These are the options you have. This is what I recommend. Because I feel that's the least I can do at the time that you need somebody to give you some direction. You know, yeah. But there's nothing that warms my heart more to know that your case has been approved. We've got everything. We've done everything we can do to make sure we increase the chances of an approval. So let us work together, because we're a team, and maximize the chances of an approval in your case. But at the end of the day, at the end of it all, it is still out of the human hand. It's all in God's hands. It's all in God's hands. And my prayer tonight is that whatever it is that what you want God to meet you at that point, what you want to come in contact with God. It's a beautiful thing to even have a savior who wants to have a relationship with us. That is the first privilege we have. But we also all have to understand that God's ways are completely different from ours. I can sit here and tell you what it is about legal part and the chances of this, and I hardly say chances, so I better to let me say, what you should or should not do. But I also know when to dial back and understand that I had to remove myself from the equation at some point and do what my human power can do. And then I return the rest onto God, knowing that he's the one who would direct the heart of the king in the way he wants it to go. So something that seems, I've had the cases that I thought were so weak, be it in all aspects of my practice areas in immigration. They're like, I'll be damned. I've argued at least no less than 5 cases where people were say they were married to get a visa, and then they forget that they said that, and now they get married for real. They have kids, and USCIS says, not so fast. This is what you said on the DS 116. And like, oh. And I've argued that, culturally, we call each other husband and wife. There wasn't any, now that comes into play when you don't have a marriage certificate that you presented. But my point is, things that I did not expect. And that's why I understand. It's not anything that I know. God uses me as a vessel. And that's all it is. It's nothing that he's the wisdom and knowledge that is impacted on me. It's because of him. It's not anything like I don't ever brag on it is me. No, it is all to his glory. But then there's some times that he's like, you know what? It doesn't go our way. But it doesn't change that it's all to the glory of God. That doesn't change. The only thing that changes is what's going to be the way forward. That's all. And so my prayer tonight is that as we set our eyes on God and know that, because the Bible does not have any record of failure with God, there's no record of failure with him. It may not turn out the way we expect it to, but there's always going to be a way. Hello, Miss Wallace. There's always going to be a way. There's always going to be a way, and he's going to make a way at the time when least expected. But let's do our part in trying to help our own case. And then as long as we know we've done our part, let's leave the rest to our maker, the one who breathed us into existence and knows our end from the beginning. He knows our journey before we were even formed in our mother's womb. Let him do that which he alone knows how to do. I'll see you guys on Thursday, and keep the hope alive. Have a good night.